Hello, and my name is Scott MacArthur, and welcome to Firetalk Friday on a Monday. Ha! Um, I had to come back on again today. Thanks very much for tuning in last Friday when we looked at the extraordinary, almost comedic behaviour of some of the energy companies claiming compensation for climate change when they have been shown to be one of the main causes of climate change and should be paying to fix it rather than suing governments. So I get up this morning and there's another interesting article in the media. And rather than wait till Friday, I just thought I'd come on and have a chat about it just now because along comes an energy crisis. One of the commentators this morning, the money saving expert, said this is the energy pandemic, global pandemic, akin to COVID, because we've suddenly got all these hikes in gas prices and companies are going bust. People are worried about the providers, whether they're going to lose money. Some elderly people are terrified that they're going to freeze to death in the winter. That already happens too often, but they're even more worried now. There's animal cruelty happening because of the consequent shortages of CO2, which is used in the slaughter process. All sorts of things. Oh, joyous, lovely things. And then I get on the radio this morning. I'm listening to Nicky Campbell, who I really like, on Radio 5 Live, and there's all these companies talking about how they should be getting government help to bail them out. Could never have predicted this, blah, blah, blah. What was it? I've got a quote here. Where is it? There you go. This is from the BBC. The government is considering offering emergency state-backed loans amid fears of struggling energy companies and soaring bills for customers. And they said this morning, oh, we didn't expect this. Well, nonsense. I worked for British Gas back in the day, and I was actually on the team that was responsible for breaking a large part of British Gas up. Now, we formed Centrica and Transco and British Gas Service, that you may have heard of. All these companies are all changing their names all the time. And that was as a consequence of a certain politician having a almost religious desire to privatise all public services. Now, this is not a political statement I'm about to make, really, but you can probably tell from my body language, you know, I wasn't impressed at the time, and I'm still not. But let me remind you of this patronising drivel that was floating around back in the day when they patronised everyone in the public to buy shares in the new British Gas.
Sorry, Mike, gotta go.
These British Gas shares, it couldn't be easier to do. Phone his number and they send you information on how to apply. If you see Sid, tell him, won't you?
Oi! Oh, I'm glad you're here. This'll interest you. British Gas shares, they come out in November. If you see Sid, tell him.
What's up? You know, these British Gas shares, they're really easy to do. Give him a ring. If you see Sid, tell him.
It couldn't be easier to apply for a share of the shares. For more information and to reserve a prospectus, phone 0272 272 272 anytime.
Now, pretty patronising, eh? It's like Arthur Daly coming along. You want some dodgy shares? Dreadful. Get lost, Sid. We were all saying that at the time. But the thing that people tend to have amnesia about is that not all government-led organisations are the same. And at that time, yes, there were serious issues with British Rail, and I think privatisation was you could argue it was a good option. I wouldn't necessarily agree with it, but you could definitely put a good argument together that it was a good option. And some other parts of the nationalised organisations, there was good arguments for privatisation, and I'm not going to argue with that. However, and this is the bit where I think people are perhaps suffering from some amnesia this morning. British Gas was not only consistently, for more than 10 years, voted the best value gas provider in Europe. It was also voted by its customers as the best customer services utility in Europe for years. It was voted by its employees the best place to work in the United Kingdom for years. And it was also well recognised as the safest provider of gas services in the world. And then to privatise it. So if you've got low prices, high customer service, and you privatise something, what's going to happen? What anybody with a brain, what is going to happen? You create all these other companies that are going to swarm around it, trying to gobble up a tiny margin and cut it between themselves. Great. And then you create this market and people have the right to choose and people can change the provider. What has happened? Gas prices have gone zoom, right? Service levels have gone whoosh, like that. There was a chief executive of one of the gas companies on this one. Now, he may not have been born when I was going through this. And he was saying, well, we're trying to provide great customer service. We were providing the best customer service in Europe, recognised and awarded globally for that, right? The whole thing is a nonsense. Now, I feel very sorry for the individuals who are losing their jobs. I feel worried. I think they're okay because the government is stepping in. There's another shock to clear up what that lot did back in the 80s and 90s. So I think we're okay gas supply wise. Animal welfare, woo, let's see who bails them out with the CO2 shortages. It is daft. It really is daft. And one of the things that I talk a lot about now is how, or rather why, technology, blockchain, etc., enables us to talk about startup organizations, startup cities, startup countries, startup civil services. So, and I think that the behavior of these, I mean, in this market, I think it's a fake market. I genuinely think it's a fake market because the gas still gets taken out of the ground by the same organizations that always did. And everybody just buys it. So where's the value add? The answer is nowhere. That's why your gas prices are rocketing. Doesn't matter where you shop. I read this morning, one of the reports, 38% higher than it was back when it was provided by British Gas. And they still haven't learned the lesson because recently we had another gold provider of social services, if you like. Very trendy to talk about social services, but that was in the prisoner reform. And we had globally recognised the best. Globally recognised. They privatise it, it falls apart, and they had to renationalise it. Come on, we need joined up thinking. We need to, as a member of the public, we need to take control of this because this is just going to get worse. And I am so sorry that people are losing their jobs. But this was a world-class provider that was destroyed by political nonsense. Now, I'm not left or right. I used to be a lefty, absolutely. I used to sell socialist worker on Princess Street in Edinburgh. I don't vote Labour anymore. I vote for who I think is the best person to be in charge. But even that is starting to get to the point where I'm thinking, what can I do here? What can I vote for? So, ranting again. But anyway, I hope you found that interesting. I hope you found that probably quite funny, actually. There was another thing I just wanted to show you here. You'll have heard of the historian Yuval Noah Harari, and he's written some lovely books. And you'll have heard others talk about why it's important to pay attention to history. Well, the history here is, he says here, the best reason to learn from history is so we can actually imagine alternatives into the future. And it doesn't always have to be the market. It doesn't always have to be public ownership. We can have blends. We can think about how technology is enabling us to do things down to the individual. We can look at how we can form new networks now that's supported by the wonderful developments in cyber and currencies and creating your own currency, etc. So there are now technologies that can help us move away from this. But all of this is just a result of narrow-minded, short-term, Arthur Daly policies in government. And have they changed? No, they haven't. And again, I'm not having to go just at the Tories. I'm having to go at the lot of them, because it looks to me like they have lost sight of the fact that these things are all connected and that we are all connected. Okay, rant over. It really does wind me up, this one, once again. So in terms of tomorrow, I've got my live artifact show tomorrow, which is about storytelling. And on the show, we have a very interesting guest called Chris Freer. Now, Chris is a very interesting and nice person, which is quite surprising, really, because he's been through quite a lot. He's had quite a hard time. So this show is about post-traumatic growth and storytelling. So I hope you'll enjoy it, because it takes if you remember, 2 weeks ago, I had Olivia James on, where she was telling us about what trauma was and how you can look at it and how you can perhaps help people with trauma to recover. This is a fella who's been living in trauma, so I'm quite looking forward to speaking to him. I've enjoyed my dialogue with him and the sort of pre-production work, so that's pretty good as well. So thanks for tuning in again. I will be back on Friday with another Fire Talk. I'll probably need to change my intro to Fire Talk rather than Fire Talk Friday, because the way this is going, I'll be on every day. If the media keeps going the way it's going, winding me up, I'll be on here every day. So thanks for tuning in. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you sometime next, either tomorrow or on Friday. Night night. Bye.